Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be doing one of the most exciting and lucrative jobs on the farm. I wonder if you guys can even guess what exactly that is. And no, it has nothing to do with these beautiful soybeans in the background, although they are looking pretty stout. Drum roll, please. You're getting hints right here. Those are hints. There's a hint for you right there. There's another hint right there. Boom! Mowing. If you guessed anything other than mowing, you were wrong. And yes, I did lie about the excitement and lucrativity of what we are about to do. Mowing is the opposite of exciting and financially beneficial for us. Mowing is good for three things: making your roadsides look nice, burning diesel fuel, and ruining tires. Usually the 2 and 3 spots in that rotation outweigh the benefit of your roadsides and grassy areas looking nice. What we're going to be working on mowing are our set-aside government filter strip CRP areas. These government-funded set-asides on both sides of this creek that splits our farm all the way up to the north are here for wildlife management and also water filtration. The water coming off this field into the creek loses a lot of its nutrients in this filter strip and silt. That way the ditch lasts a little bit longer. These set-aside acres also really benefit local wildlife in terms of increasing their population. A lot of small game birds, such as pheasants, which I saw 10 of the other day, 10 baby pheasants. I have no proof of it at all, but they were out here, laid their eggs out here, hatched, and can reproduce in a better environment than, say, if we had farmed all the way up to the side. Now, the government does fund these projects. We just have to maintain them. Mowing all of the grass in this area actually takes me a pretty considerable amount of time. I put in a couple hours yesterday evening and got started on just this side of the ditch. I'll probably be here for another 5 to 6 hours to mow all this grass down to what it needs to be at in terms of management. Foliage is so tall that it takes me a very long time to mow at such a slow gear to grind through all this material. I also have to wait a little bit longer in the morning, much like when you're cutting soybeans, for the grass to dry off. That way it gets chopped up adequately and doesn't give the mower too much of a challenge. I got a head start on it yesterday evening. I didn't have my camera with me, but I knew it was going to be a 2-day project by the time I got it started. I dove into it a little bit, but we're going to finish that off today. And here's my trusty steed, our John Deere 7800. 165 horsepower, a very capable tractor of pulling this 15-foot batwing mower by John Deere. Both are John Deere pieces of equipment. Back in the day, the 7800 was actually one of our planter tractors. It's been promoted to lesser duties. It mows in the spring, summer, and fall. It also runs one of our 13-inch bin loading augers in the fall. It takes a pretty significant amount of power to run those 13-inch augers, which this does have. Like I said, it used to pull one of our 12-row planters ages ago when I was a small child, but now it's retired. The old CX-15 John Deere batwing mower. Nothing fancy, but it can cover a lot of ground. There's no moisture on my boots, so we're going to go ahead and start mowing. Oil's good, let's start her up. Whew. There's nothing very fancy about this tractor, but it has the 2 amenities that you need if you're going to be in the tractor for a long time. One of those is air conditioning. The other one is a functioning radio. That's all I need. I'm not going to be going fast. I probably won't be driving that straight, but I will be getting work done comfortably. Let's get to it. Let's unfold her and start mowing. PTO's engaged. Low and slow. We'll be here for a while. Entirely sure, but I'm speculating that my radar's wrong because I don't believe that I'm going 31.6 miles an hour. It feels like I'm going more like 2.5. Time for a long day of mowing. One of the many kryptonites of a mower tractor, especially out in an area such as this with grass that's really tall, a creek, trees, are washes and holes big enough to cause a tractor. That would turn this operation from an expensive one to a very expensive one. When you're approaching it, unless you really are paying attention, you could easily drive into that and cause quite a bit of damage to the front end of your tractor. I'd venture to say that you probably need some new pants too if you fell down in that. 5 hours later and I'm about 3/4 of the way done. I gotta fold up, head down the road to another patch of this set aside, and I'll be done. Hopefully I can get it done in like an hour, hour and a half. There's very few things quite as exciting as mowing all day. Accumulate a lot of grass when you mow for 5 hours. On the road again. Nothing as convenient as a nice little power shift action. A little bit easier than that 4520 to drive. Holds up nice and pretty like. That'd be a wild ride. Probably the most dangerous haircut I've ever given. You're probably curious why we aren't baling all this good grass. The short and sweet answer is we're just not allowed to. We are paid to maintain these areas and not farm them. We are not paid to make a profit off this ground. Rather, we're just here to upkeep it. Other than doing some annual manicuring on this, we do not touch this ground. It's here for the wildlife and the environment around it. You can imagine though, if we could bale this, it would probably be quite the spectacle. As I've been mowing for 7 to 8 hours now, I'm about done. I think 20 acres was a low ball. There's probably more than 20 acres of ground out here in these grass filters, CRP strips, whatever you want to call them. Thankfully, it's only about 85 degrees outside. If it was any warmer, I'd have to keep a lot closer eye on the old 7800 here. She likes to run a little bit hot. It doesn't help that the air filtration goes through the screen there and all this little seeds and other matter off of these plants get lodged in there. But we've had times before where she's gotten close to overheating, so I have to keep a close eye on it. I want to take it easy on it and make sure she lasts a long time. I've only got about 4,500, 5,000 hours on it. I want to make sure she can get to 10. It's the final countdown. Do-do-do-do. 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 Please don't copyright me. Just about to fall asleep. The last thing I gotta do after a long day of mowing is clean off all this extra grass. The reason we want to get the grass off is because when we take it into the barn to store it, grass is actually a very significant fire hazard, especially if it's wet. When grass starts to rot, sometimes it generates heat. One thing leads to another, you get a spark, you get a fire, and then your barn burns down. So we like to clean them off before we put them away. It's not spotless, but we got most of the grass off, and that's what we were going for. Now we're just gonna grind it up real quick. Don't want to leave it out there in a pile. A little bit will get back on the mower, but that's all right. A job well done. Back to where it all began about 7 hours ago. We're gonna leave this beast here for the night. That marks the end of my work for today. Not everything we do on the farm is always that enthralling. There's a lot of small tasks we just have to get done. Not all fancy equipment, crops being grown. We gotta take care of other parts of our farm too. This was my workhorse for the day. I ended up parking it back where I started because someone's gonna have some more mowing on the docket tomorrow. We're gonna leave it where it's gonna start. A long day of mowing. I didn't even really travel that far. 20 plus acres of set aside mowed. A nice clean haircut for that. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, leave a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe if you want to see more. Have a great night. Peace!